You ever had the situation as a sales professional, you call into a prospect, they answer the phone, they did your value prop, and you thought you did a good job, and they say, we're not interested. What do you do at this point? Do you just push? Do you hang up? Do you move on to the next one? I want to share with you an idea that I call circle around the block. Hopefully, this can help you when you find yourself in a sticky situation. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. On this episode, we're going to talk about this idea of circling around the block. When you find yourself in a sticky situation, hit it with an objection as a sales professional. If this is your first time listening to our podcast or watching one of these episodes, I want to tell you, please go ahead and subscribe because we're going to notify you every time we get a new piece of content, especially around building pipeline or closing deal, which all of our stuff is either going to fall in one of those two categories. On today's episode, we're going to talk about how you can help build pipe, especially when you get these objections you're doing cold outreach. Now, I want to give a big shout out to my friends over at Ambition. You can find more details about them in the show notes. They do amazing things. But today, I want to tell you the story first off to start off this conversation and where I got the idea from. I was flying back home from I don't know where I was flying back from, but I was flying back home to West Palm Beach. There was a terrible thunderstorm, like just really nasty. And anyone familiar with South Florida, you know we get some bad thunderstorms. Instead of landing in West Palm Beach, the pilot circled around for a little bit, and then he said, you know what, we got to take this bad boy out of the area. So they brought us to Orlando instead of us just like burning gas. So Orlando is 2.5 hours from West Palm Beach by car. So it's just like another 30 minutes up the road, 20 minutes by flight. So we went to Orlando, we parked the plane for a little bit because we didn't know how long it was going to be. Then we got a clearance. We came back to West Palm Beach. The storm passed and we were able to land safely. And I'm here now. Life goes on. But the interesting thing was the pilot came in for approach. The approach didn't look so good. It was kind of ugly because of the storm. So therefore, he had to go and do something else, quote unquote, circle around. The concept, I want to give you the same idea when it comes to you. I want you to go around a block, so to speak. You probably had in situations where you came home from work one day and you're just super tired and you're trying to unwind and you know as soon as you get in the house, it's going to be, you got a lot more stuff to do. So you're going to circle on a block for a little bit before you come into the approach, before you get ready, right? This is the idea, is for you to prepare before you come in and be ready. So here's what happened with this prospect. I call this guy, it's for our podcast production company, and a low-key pitch here. As you can see, we're in a different setup. This is for my studio. My production company is called Blue Mango Studios, and we produce content for the brands. So technically, Blue Mango not technically, it does produce this podcast and all of the content that I have and my influencer content. So thank you, Blue Mango. But we're in this location today. You can see the setup here. But I was calling a prospect for that company. Dude answered. We connected and we chatted for a little bit. And then he said, you know, I'm not interested. So instead of me pushing the matter at that point, I decided to quote unquote circle around the block, or you can call it deflecting. So I saw his phone number was a 954, again, a Florida number. So I asked him if he's from Broward County. He said he's not. Well, he was originally and moved to Orlando. So we started talking about that and how I'm from West Palm Beach. And he asked if I was always from here. And I told him that I was moved here as a kid and so forth. And we connected and started chatting about that. Found out dude was Bahamian. Say, what? I'm Jamaican and he's Bahamian. We're talking about food. We're talking about the sodas that they drink and all this other stuff, hidden stories about my friends who are Bahamian and all this fun stuff. After that, after I circled around, so to speak, I came back in for the landing. And I said, you know what? I understand right now you're busy, because he said this at the beginning of the conversation. I don't want to take up much of your time. I do know this can help you out, though, how we can help you to create MQL, marketing qualified leads from a podcast and so forth. And then he had more interest. I said, if you have 15 minutes on a Friday and a time that's not going to be as busy for you, I'd love to just take that time and share more with you about this. He went from not being interested, wanting to learn more, and was open to this idea. Now, how does that happen? We build a connection. And that only came because I was able to not push right then and there. If I just said, why were you not interested? Is he tried this before and so forth? Some of these strategies that, yes, it could work in certain situations, but you got to have this certain level of intellectual, of IQ, so to speak, and EQ. That is emotional intelligence to be able to understand when it's appropriate to be able to have that type of conversation. And in that moment with that guy, I felt that it wasn't appropriate to push back, because I just needed to circle around the block and then come back and address the matter. And when I did, it was more set. I was able to, I guess, had a better setting, and it was a better approach, and was able to have a better means of discussion with them. Now, I want to give you some ideas of how you can circle around the block. Not all of you are going to find somebody with an area code in your community. Maybe you do, but you can try. It'll get stale pretty fast. So you want to try different things. So one thing you can look at is perhaps their LinkedIn profiles. Bring up somebody else that they might know. So you deflect. Might say, out of curiosity, I see that you're connected with Leslie Andrews. How do you know Leslie? Well, we went to college together or worked at a company together. No way. Leslie and I, it was our podcast. That's one approach. Number two, maybe the content that they shared. By the way, I saw that you guys are sharing that you guys are hiring. What kind of roles are you hiring for right now? Any qualification? Is the role filled already? No, yeah, blah, blah, blah. It's something that they're interested in, and they're probably going to be more willing to talk to you about that. Your job right now is to have conversations. The more conversations you have, the more opportunity you have to get that person to be able to listen. Because I guarantee you, the first time you did the pitch and I did that pitch, that person didn't necessarily want to hear the pitch. They were just trying to get us off the phone. So they told us to, bug off, kid. I'm not interested. But now that we got their attention, we were able to engage them and we had conversation. They were more in a situation that they could actually listen to us. So my value prop was even more relevant to that person at that point, because we did do some relevancy work prior. So the same concept apply with this individual. So when you ask them about their career, about something that matters to them, you're going into their world and you're talking, and it just allows them to take their guard down, so to speak. Another one that you could take advantage of is perhaps things that their company is doing. So maybe there's a mention of their company or something their company has posted or something company has accomplished or a new feature. Or perhaps maybe it's just like something totally not dealing with that, just out of curiosity. Hey, notice the product that you guys have. Out of curiosity, does that really work? And they might say, well, yeah, it does because of blah, blah, blah. You're just getting this person to talk. My soccer coach in high school, and you probably heard the story over and over again, but I always share it. Coach Ruth used to always say, the more shot you take on goal, the higher chance you have of scoring. I know it sounds dumb, but listen, the more shots you take on goal, the higher your chances you have of scoring. It makes sense, right? Instead of waiting for the perfect approach for, in your case, the perfect situation where the prospect is ready and they said, yes, I'm interested. Tell me about your service. Sometimes we just need to take a shot. Shoot your shot. And the chances are maybe somebody will duck, or maybe the ball will ricochet off of one post and go into the goal. You don't know. But take the shots towards goal. Get the opportunity to have more conversations. Give yourself time to collect yourself. Listen to my past episode about that one. But give yourself time to collect yourself and ask that prospect some of these engaging questions. I tell you, it works time and time again. I would love for you to try it, and I would love for you to tell me about it. You can go ahead and connect with me on LinkedIn, Donald C. Kelly. Donald C. Kelly. Again, Donald C. Kelly. Don't just do the follow thing. On LinkedIn, there's the follow button, but next to it, there's a 3 dots. Click on that, and it will say connect. And you can connect with me. Tell me how you like the strategy of circling around the block. Listen, I want you to thrive and I want you to succeed. And if you want to practice this stuff, but you feel like you don't have a place to do so, we do. We have a mastermind, and it's designed for sales professionals just like you. Every week we meet together, small groups. You get a chance to practice. We tackle sales challenges, real issues that are holding you back from hitting your numbers, and help you to have a breakthrough with it. I would love for you to join. Go to thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. Again, thesalesevangelist.com/mastermind. I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to raise your level of thinking, but most importantly, I want you to go out and do big things. See you on the next one.